Mike Goodwin, that is off the charts. Good morning, Darwin. Jason Hayes and the Zooch dominating from Missouri. Just a touch. Mike, how can you have so many state games? Good luck to Mike. Do we need luck at this point? Just go out there and kick some ass. Jason Hayes, we are on the mend. On the mend. Works. Indeed, I was on that podcast. Yeah, we had a great time. Oh, that is wild. Huh. I was going to say, if you missed it, it's nothing you haven't heard before. Awesome. Great day in the morning. Greetings from the beautiful San Francisco Bay Area. It's Greg Austin with a Better Official Live basketball rules expert. We're going to look at some play scenarios and get better as basketball officials. Take a couple of things, some concepts with us that we can take with us and adjudicate plays properly in the future. Great to see everybody this morning. I am feeling frisky. I have coffee in hand, the critical component to our broadcast. And we are fueled by our tremendous show supporters. I really appreciate everybody. This season we've had, it's been a long season for me here behind the in the studio, working with my tech team, feverishly keeping them fed and producing. But I appreciate all the fantastic support that we have received during the season, and I really appreciate that quite a bit. I cannot really hardly express that verbally. And it's great to see everybody in the show today. Mike Goodwin is embarking on a unique setup, I think. Site of the state 1A. These are smaller schools, and you're going to have at least 6 games in this tournament. It sounds like sort of a little mini March Madness scenario. Kind of crazy. We just had our state finals here in California over the weekend. I spent the weekend downloading all of the games off of NFHS Network, getting them into a format that the officials can, work, evaluate their game video properly, clip plays, etc. Posted those all up to Dropbox for them. That's something we do every year when we are not active on the court. Oh, awesome. Yeah, school population 1 to 50. Indeed. Don't we need at least 5 to start? Anyway, to start. Yeah, I'm that guy in the dark alley your mom warned you about, actually. All right. Hey, excellent. Joe Rossa's in the house. Christopher Lake, Pittsburgh. Where's Bickler? Where's Bickler? And where's Jacob? Apparently I've been mispronouncing Jacob Krause's name. It's apparently it's been brought to my attention. It's Krause and not Kraus, which is that is embarrassing for me to have been mispronouncing all this time. Hey. Cocoa Puffs. Excellent. Cocoa Puffs. Wonder if that's a local person. What is your opinion on officiating calling technical fouls for players faking, being fouled, flopping, or would you rather see a no call or a block? I have personally never called a player technical foul for flopping. So that would give you an indication to my predilection in that way. Players have been trained to handle blocking situations. They are coached up, to soften their body, to and to embellish contact. That was exciting. And that is simply part of the game these days. Give me just a second. Turn that down. Right. So obviously we're going to have a spectrum there. Players with a lot of hair, right, tend to utilize that to their advantage. They like to throw their head a lot. That's just something we have to be perceptive about. Players want to embellish contact. They want to get calls, etc. So now faking being fouled, right? There is no contact. Player falls down and behaves as though there was contact. Now, this is a little bit different than a player embellishing contact, right? So that has to be handled in its own way. How can we handle that? We can, handle it. We always have a progression that we have available to us. The subtle, hey, don't do that again. Okay, right? That's our impact going forward. We can, do some sort of informal warning. Hey, partner, this player here falling down on purpose, right? We're looking for that. Hey, you do that again. The stern warning. The stern warning. And then we can always just simply put a whistle on a play if it's egregious enough. In my games, I have yet to have an egregious enough situation to do that. Chris in the house. Chris, am I pronouncing your name correctly? Is it Janish? I'm doubting myself now. If I always just had gone into that assumption, it's amazing. Amazing. Don't doubt yourself. All right. Let's see. When I go here, what happens? No, we don't want to do that. Okay. All righty. Huh. Okay. All right. See if I remember how to do this stuff from last time. Oh. Give me just a second here. Hey. Okay. Okay. I think I got that figured out. All right, let's go to the rundown. Now, you see, I don't want to go from there. I'm going to go there. Huh. Well, here we are. It's Wednesday. As we like to do, we are live with basketball rules expert. And of course, every Friday, 7 a.m. Pacific. Can I say every Friday? Most Fridays, we have to make a decision about how we're going to handle the upcoming off season. But Fridays, we do look at game video with 5 Play Friday. If you are new to the live stream, you're saying, what the heck's going on here? Jump in the chat. Let me know where you officiate from. My name is Greg Austin with A Better Official, and we craft video to help basketball officials get better and take control of their officiating career. If you have a comment about a play scenario, we're going to bang through the plays today. Only a limited number in our new format as we continue to try to evolve the show into a little stronger format. See, I'm not happy about that. And if you have a moment, you can always share the stream with others so we can expose it to more basketball officials and all get better together. Okay. All right. And I go there. And I could just say, we're going to start the show. So we're going to bang the show today. My objective here is to do a quick show and a quick edit. See how quickly I can get things out. As we are always trying to improve the process here with me and my tech team, I feel like on this crew, I really do most of the work. And yeah, so. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. There. How's that look? Legit. Legit. All right, today we're going to take a look at a few scenarios that can lead to a couple of concepts that we can take with us and apply to other areas of the game. Let's get started today and look at our play scenarios. Let's go. Greetings and welcome back to another episode of the Basketball Rules Expert, the show where we take National Federation of High School basketball rules and lift them off of the printed page, breathe life into them, simplify, clarify, and amplify so that we can take the rules with us onto the basketball court where it is indeed most important. Greetings again, everybody. My name is Greg Austin with a... See what I did there? Greetings again, everybody. My name is Greg Austin with a Better Official. I've been a high school basketball official here in the beautiful San Francisco Bay Area for over a decade. I consider myself to be very knowledgeable about the rules of basketball. I have a passion about helping others learn the rules of high school basketball, and I appreciate you joining us today. If this is the video content you find valuable as a basketball official, it'll be a great time to consider doing all of the things, the liking, the subscribing, and the notifying, so you don't miss out whenever we have new video content. Right. Before we get started on today's show, allow me to thank those who fuel our broadcast, our tremendous show supporters. Why didn't that work? One moment. Why didn't that work? I don't know. Well, here's the deal. I am going to make it work right now. Why? Because I can. Right? Sylvia Bigot, Les O'Connor Jr., Jim Youngkins, Darwin Sonata, and Chris Hirano. Much appreciated and much love. You want to support the show? There'll always be an opportunity. I'll put a link down in the show notes below. All right, today we're going to look at some play scenarios, and we're going to take things from them, some concepts, some ideas that can really help us when we get into other play situations. But today we're going to get started with a backcourt play. Always good to have backcourt plays, reminders of our simple approach to adjudicating those plays properly at the high school level. That's going to happen in just a minute. Let me go there. All right, we're winging it. Let's look at our very first play scenario. A1 attempts a three-point shot. The ball hits the backboard and is batted by B2. While still in A's front court, A3 touches the ball with both hands, but muffs the ball, which bounces into Team A's back court. A3 grabs the ball in the back court. The officials rule this to be a legal play. Were the officials correct? Yes or no? All right, Team A has the ball in the front court. Player releases a try for goal. It hits the backboard, teammate bats the ball back. A player near the division line, muffs the ball, bounces off their head into the backcourt, and another player on the team goes and gets the ball, right? We see this play all the time. There's energy in the building, it rises. But what it forces us to do is have a clear understanding of the rule itself. Look at that, it's beautiful. The backcourt rule itself. So let's take a look. I forget how I get there. I'm there. Let's take a look at the rule itself. Rule 9-9-1, a backcourt rule. A player must not be the first to touch the ball after it has been in team control in the front court if he or she or a teammate last touched or was touched by the ball in the front court before it went in the backcourt. And Rule 412, team is in control of the ball. I see what I did there. Right. So, back there. Right, here we are. Okay, so our rule states that our team in control may not be the last to touch or be touched and touch the ball first in the backcourt. On this play, a player from team A was the last to touch in the front court. Player from team A was the first to touch in the backcourt. That part of the equation is great, but the key component here is the team must have team control on the court. The team had team control on the court. They were in the front court. Player released a try. What do we know? We know that one of the ways that team control ends is when a player of the team is in control. A team is in control when they are holding and dribbling the ball, being passed amongst teammates during an interrupted dribble, and when a player has the ball for a throw-in. We know that's how team control exists, but we also have to know how team control ends. Team control continues until Article 3A, the ball is in flight during a try or tap for goal. So when the player released the try, there was no longer team control on the court, in the front court, or in any way whatsoever. There is no team control during a try. That's the key component here. So when does team control get reestablished on this play? Is it when the player bats the ball towards a teammate? No. Is it when a teammate muffs the ball and fails to control it and it bounces into the backcourt? No. It's when the player holds or dribbles the ball in the backcourt that reestablishes team control. So in this instance, I see. So in this instance, when the officials ruled this to be a legal play, were the officials correct? Yes. Yes, they were. Team control ended on the try, the batting of the ball, the muffing of the ball, the collection of the ball was all legal activity. It wasn't until the ball was collected in the backcourt that we resumed having team control, and only after that point could we possibly have a violation. So our officials in this instance were correct. This isn't a legal play by rule. The key component, the key takeaway is the absence of team control. Obviously, as basketball officials, we have to understand the status of the ball. Is there team control? Is there not team control? Player control, no player control, live ball, dead ball, all of the things. Domination of the status of things during the game will make us so much better prepared to adjudicate plays. Play like this, where we see that muffing and the ball go in the backcourt, right? All right. We can have a moment of doubt. There could be energy in the building. A player on the court may say, hey, backcourt, whatever, right? But if we understand the status in the situation, we are prepared to adjudicate the play properly. Well, we made it through that. Yeah, Randy, we're always appreciative when our crew gets any call right. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, yeah. Oh, I have not seen this ugly goaltending call in Connecticut. I may have seen it. I don't know. Was it end of game scenario? And the call was from the trail, and he was he was at the division line, kind of with a limp. Oh, wait a minute! No! We're gonna call goaltending there, and then the coach is on the court. Was it that one? That was woo. Now wait a minute. Joe 239, great to see you. I like that avatar. Colorful. Excellent. Yes, this is a legal play. Everybody knows this. But I wanted to get started with that. Yeah, Billy, I saw that play. Yeah, not our best moment. But that of course is the thing at this time of year, end of the season, state tournaments, and what have you. The ramifications of erroneous rulings on plays are much more impactful. Now, if this occurred during the same scenario, exact same scenario occurs during a preseason game, scrimmage, preseason game, a tournament game, maybe there's drama around it, but obviously we're heightened at the end of the year because somebody's going home and somebody's moving on, or somebody's winning the championship, somebody's losing, and the impact of our whistle is much more dramatic. So what do? We start the season, we start sharpening our saw, we start developing our game so that, all of the things come to bear in those key moments of the most important games. It's easy to we get into the season. I'm thinking about it this way. Like, let's say I've got 3 rec games, AAU games this weekend, and I'm going to do 3 games, and it's going to take, 4 hours, maybe, or 3.5 hours. And am I going to bring my A+ game to that scenario? To a certain extent, yes, but to a certain extent, no. No, I'm not. Are we going? We're going to use. Are we going to switch all fouls in 2-person mechanics? No, we're not. We're going to use rec ball mechanics, switch when necessary, etc. Right? This is not saw sharpening. Right? This is go out, get exercise, get plays, etc. We start the season, right? And we're thinking we're in preseason mode, etc. We're shaking off the rust. But we have to be working towards an ultimate pinnacle of our game, right? And we really have to bring that to bear. And we can't just say, okay, now it's the state tournament game. Now it's the playoff game. Okay, now I really need to bring my A+ game, right? We have to have practice with our A+ game. We have to execute in the very same fashion we'd want to execute in that moment of that key game. We have to do that over and over and over and over again during those league games, during those, even in potentially, in non-competitive game scenarios, etc. Developing our habits and fundamentals so that when the moment comes, that key moment, we have done the best. We have put ourselves in the best possible position, and we have made the correct ruling on the court. So the time to prepare for those moments is obviously early. like I like to tell the story here. One of my local associations, we have a playoff meeting, right? We have all the normal meetings, and then there's one playoff meeting where the playoff officials come to the meeting, and we talk about, okay, now it's the playoffs, right? The time to prepare for the playoffs is not during a playoff meeting just before the playoffs start. The time to prepare for the playoffs is from the moment, from the start of the season, right? Start developing our skills so that we can, when the moment comes, this is old news. This is how I officiate, right? I at least have to, have that in my bag so that, and I have worked it. Now, maybe not every single night during the season. Maybe I don't get my A+ game, in that 75 to 24 game that I'm working, and we're just game management from the end of the first period, right? Maybe I'm working on other skills in that scenario. But the time to start is not at the end of the season. The time to start is at the beginning of the season. That is the bottom line there. Ooh, I'm going to edit all that out. Yeah, that's... Yeah, that also, Billy, of course, leads to a situation where the officials get to the 3-person, and are we experts at 3-person at that point? Or are we 2-person officials working a 3-person system? We're going to have lots of habits and fundamentals from 2-person, and it's really going to show on the court. Yes, Mike. The time to start is now. So if let's say I'm playoff adjacent, I'm a playoff adjacent official, right? I'm rising. I'm getting better games, but I'm not yet getting playoff games, or I'm not getting more playoff games than I want, right? So how am I going to start preparing? How am I going to prepare myself? And the time to do that is right now, is to have a specific analyzing your game, where you stand with your game, and say, what do I need to do to take it to the next level? I need to go to camp. I need to talk to higher level officials. I need to have them evaluate me and what I need to do better. But I need to analyze my game video and find my strengths and my weaknesses, and have a specific strategy of attack for those weaknesses, right? So I'm going to go work some rec games, some AAU games over the summer and the spring here. What am I working on, right? Do I have a list of things that I'm working on? And if I need to improve in my 3-person mechanics, can I bring somebody else in and work my games with you guys? Let me join you. You guys take the game fee, and let's just work 3-person mechanics, and let's work like solidly, right? We're not like doing rec mechanics. Let's work this game. Help me get better. I would appreciate it. Help you get better, etc. If you can get a cohort of other officials who are also working in the same way, maybe you can coordinate getting games together and working that. And obviously having game video, you can pay a kid to record the game on a phone, etc. And just analyzing, have you really gotten the open look? Have you done the things necessary, etc.? You put that work in, and it pops. You go to camp, officials say, hey, great job, right? You did this really well. It's obvious you're working hard. Here's maybe what I would say about, maybe angle of your body, or the thing, this, that, and the other thing, how you communicated, your judgment on that call, etc. Right? These are the things we want to get from camp. But, having a strategy of attack, this is where I need to improve here, 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 and here. How can I do that? I need to improve my fitness, right? Great. You got 4-6 months before the next high school game, right? You have a chance to do that. Have a chance to do that. And Mike says it in 6 words. The time to start is now. All right, we're moving on to our next play scenario. A1 is fouled by B2 and is awarded 2 free throws. The foul is B2's 5th foul. The new trail official reports the foul and informs the coach of the disqualification. Before a substitute is made, the lead official incorrectly permits A1 to attempt the first free throw. The officials disallow the goal and re-administer the free throw after the disqualified player is replaced. Were the officials correct? Yes or no? Right? This is not a situation that's too hard to imagine. I've got a foul on a player. I go to the table and report. The table says, hey, ref, that's 5. I go to the coach. Hey, coach, that's 5 on A1 or B2. That's 5 on B2. I need a replacement player. If necessary, we can start a horn, have a horn and start the clock. Maybe we fail to do that. And our lead official on the play doesn't realize that we're going through this process of getting a sub and administers the first free throw, which is successful. And at that point, we realize, and the officials get together and make a judgment that no, we need to disallow that goal. Right? Our answer, fortunately have, it's always great when we have a case play that tells us exactly what we need. So our case play here, 4.14.1 situation C is our case play. A1 is fouled by B2 and is awarded 2 free throws. And the ruling on the play, the result of the first attempt shall stand. Team B's head coach shall be notified, and once B2 has been replaced, A1 shall attempt a second free throw. And if we look at the comment on the play, this is an official's error and not a correctable error situation. Right? So we have erroneously allowed a player to attempt a free throw when they out of sequence, right? We were doing other things, etc. And so the question is, when we do that, when we administer things out of sequence, right? We should have waited and then administered. What is the impact of that? And in this instance, the impact is no, that the player was awarded merited free throws. They have attempted a merited free throw, right? There's been no issue with that. And so this is not a correctable error situation. It's not one of them, right? And so we're going to allow the free throw to stand. But let's extrapolate this. Let's extrapolate this and think about other scenarios. So let's say we had a multiple technical foul situation. There was team A should have shot 2, then team B, then team A, and then A has the ball for a throw in at the division line. That would be the proper sequence of adjudicating those technicals. Let's say it's a crazy situation. But instead of doing it that way, we allow team A to attempt 4, and then allow team B to attempt 2, and then it's team A ball at the division line. We've done it out of sequence, right? How would we handle that? And then we realize, how would we handle that? Well, all of the merited free throws had properly been attempted. So even though the order in the instance was out of order, all were attempted properly. There's no correctable error thing that needs to be redone. Each team was awarded their merited free throws. So that would be a concept from this play that we can take with us to other plays. What am I waiting for here? I gotcha. So in this instance, when the officials disallowed the first free throw attempt, were the officials correct? Yes or no? No, they were not. The result of that free throw should stand. Continue with the disqualification procedure, get the substitute into the game, and continue the game with the second merited free throw on the play. That would be the correct ruling here. But what we're taking with us is an understanding that in an instance where we have executed free throws in an out of sequence, the key component is that the merited free throws were attempted. And if they are, the result of those free throws will stand. Hey, the sequencing here is tough. Zooch, we've all worked with this official. Wait, I assume we're... The question is, have partners we worked with that official? All right. All right, moving on to our very next play scenario. A1 is discovered to have blood on their jersey and is directed to leave the game. The coach has another team member, A23, give their jersey to A1. A1 reports to the table at the next opportunity and attempts to substitute into the game. The coach tells the officials of the jersey switch. The officials inform the Team B coach of the change and allow the substitution. Were the officials correct? Yes or no, right? Players directed to leave, they have blood on their jersey. Coach says, hey, change your player at the end of the bench, Billy, down there, 23. Give your jersey to our player who has blood on their jersey, right? Players change. He changes the jersey, goes to the table, requests to re-enter the game. The coach says, hey, right? My player here has changed their number. They are using somebody else's jersey, and the officials allow this to occur. Were the officials correct? Yes or no, right? So blood on jersey situations are something we need to be aware of. And if we look at the rules reference on this play, we have a case play. It's always great to have case plays that define our situation. And we have a situation where B1 is directed to leave the game because of excessive blood on his or her uniform jersey. The word excessive there is not a factor. If a player has blood or on his or her uniform jersey, they are directed to leave by rule. Team B does not have any extra jerseys. So the head coach asks one of the substitute to give his or her jersey to B1. And our ruling on this play is this is an acceptable procedure. In both situations, the scorer will make the necessary changes in the scorebook without penalty. And really what's important here is our comment on the play. The spirit and intent of the rule is to do everything possible to allow the player to use a different jersey and return without penalty. However, identical numbers shall not be allowed by the same team, right? The other scenario is the team finds a jersey in the closet that is, like it's very different. Like, let's say this is the home team. It's a white jersey, but it's, the lettering is different and the numerals are shaped different and what have you. It's obviously, not the same as everybody else. And the key here is the comment. The spirit and intent of the rule is to do everything possible to allow the player to play, right? And that's something that we could take with us into other play scenarios as well. So in this instance, when the blood is discovered, players properly directed to leave, there's a switch of uniforms. Now, we know that this potentially needs to be managed by the officials. If we just leave the team to their own devices, we turn around and they're over there on the jersey and they've taken off their jerseys. Both players have taken off their jerseys in the bench area. Not allowed by rule. This can lead to other instances, other problems. So we need to manage the situation, maybe help a coach make a determination about what they can do legally. They may have questions for us, etc. So it's probably not going to be a situation where we just, hey, direct the player to leave and then continue the game, right? There's probably going to be some activity, in that moment to help manage that situation. But in the end, the player is legally allowed to change their jersey, make the change with the scorebook. Our job is to make sure that the visiting coach, or the opposing coach rather, is completely aware of the situation and that the player has changed their number, right? There's no confusion. And if we execute all of that, we have done this correctly. So in this instance, when the officials allowed this uniform change to happen, were the officials correct? Why, yes, yes, yes. Why didn't that work? So in this instance where the officials allowed this to occur, were the officials correct? Yes or no? Yes. Yes, they were. This is the proper procedure. If there's a change of uniform, either finding something that doesn't match necessarily, but is clearly belongs to that team, or simply taking the uniform from a team member on the bench, both are allowed. And that comment provided by NFHS that every effort should be made, that's the spirit and intent of this rule. Every effort should be made to find a solution and allow that player to continue to play. I agree. That's the key thing. And of course, we end up with a player or a team member without a jersey on the bench. Can we have that? Hey. Yeah, that's the key thing. But do we see that? Well, I didn't see it. All right. I'm there. I think we're ready to go. Put that there. All righty, let's look at our next play scenario. Huh. A1, no, I've already done that. After Team A scores in the last 10 seconds of the second half and before the ball is at the disposal of Team B for a throw-in, A1 grabs B2 in an effort to have a foul ruled and save time. The officials rule an intentional foul on A1 and B2 is awarded 2 free throws. Were the officials correct? Yes or no? Right? So we have final seconds of a game before the ball, before the throw-in even begins. A player grabs an opponent in an effort to have a foul ruled, so the clock will stop, and they would then ultimately have an opportunity to have a chance to win the game. Right? Let's take a look at the definition. Rule 419-3 of a foul. A foul is an infraction of the rules which is charged and is penalized. Article 3, an intentional foul is a personal or technical foul that may not be premeditated and is not based solely on the severity of the act. Intentional fouls include, but are not limited to, A, contact that neutralizes an opponent's obvious advantageous position. That would be like a push in the back on a layup attempt. B, contact away from the ball with an opponent who is clearly not involved with a play. Now, in this instance, that would seem to apply. C, contact that is not a legitimate attempt to play the ball player, specifically designed to stop the clock or keep it from starting. D, excessive contact with an opponent while the ball is live or until an airborne shooter returns to the floor. Or E, contact with a thrower in, as in 9-2-10, penalty 4. Right, so in our situation, we're going to either invoke Article B or C here. This is contact which is on a player who's obviously not involved, and it is contact that's not a legitimate attempt to play the ball. Right, both of those apply in this instance, but the correct ruling here is an intentional foul. We've had a chance here to review intentional fouls coming from Rule 4. Some would say it's the most important rule for officials to ground their rules understanding in. So in this instance, where the officials ruled this to be an intentional foul, were the officials correct? Yes or no? Yes. Yes, they were. This is an intentional foul by rule. We are making a play. We are fouling away from the ball on a player not involved with the play in an effort to have a foul ruled and the clock stopped. The correct ruling in this instance would be, and it's not based on the severity of the contact, it's just maybe a slight push, right? They're just displacing the player slightly, right? It's not based, intentional fouls are not based necessarily on the severity of the act. Obviously, with an intentional foul, we can have excessive contact, and that can be very severe, right? But we can have intentional fouls that do not involve severity of contact, and that's what we have on this play, and we have a correct ruling by the officials. Oh, crap. You're right, Zooch. Ay, ay, ay. Which, of course, would be an intentional technical foul. Should I go back and redo? Why don't I just... I'll do an addendum after the show. I can do this now. All right. So one thing that we missed on this play is that if the contact occurs after the goal is scored, but before the ball has become live on the throw-in, the correct ruling would be an intentional technical foul. So that's the key thing we missed on this play in our explanation of the play. So let's assume that the correct play scenario was after the throw-in had begun, after the ball was at the disposal, after the official had begun their count, then this play occurred. This would be an intentional personal foul. The offended player would attempt the 2 free throws. The offended team would get the ball at the spot nearest the foul. If this was judged to be an intentional technical foul that occurred during dead ball contact, which our play scenario actually outlines, that would be an intentional technical foul. Any player or eligible substitute would be allowed to attempt the free throws, and the resulting throw-in would be at the division line opposite the table. Yeah, how about that? We just fixed it. Thanks, Such. Thanks a lot for pointing out that error. Ay, ay, ay. Let me see where I stand here. Where do I stand? I think we have one more play scenario. We liked it when we have just one more play scenario. All righty, here we are with our final play scenario. Team A has the ball in the front court. A2 and A3 set a screen near the end line. A1 runs out of bounds around the screening players and receives a pass on the other side. The officials rule a player technical foul on A1. Were the officials correct? Yes or no? Teams running their offense, they've set up a play. Player, a couple of screeners set up. Player runs out of bounds around the screeners, right? Preventing the defender from following around to the other side, re-enters the court, receives a pass. Officials assess a player technical foul for this activity. Were the officials correct, right? We have a player during live ball leave the court in an unauthorized fashion. This is what our rule says on here. And if we look at the rules reference, we can look at Rule 9-3, the out of bounds rule, Article 3. A player must not leave the court for an unauthorized reason. That's what we have here is a player. It's not a momentum situation where a player goes to save the basketball, right? Bats the ball back and their momentum carries them off of the court. This is legal by rule. The players are not allowed to leave the court voluntarily and re-enter the court someplace else. This action used to be, my understanding is this used to be a technical foul. The officials, National Federation of High School Federations, said, our officials are just not calling this because it's such a severe penalty. Let's make it a violation by rule. And that is what it has now been made. It is a violation by rule. Simply a violation. Ball to the offended team at the spot nearest the violation, which would be where the player left the court. So in this instance, where the officials ruled this to be a player technical foul, were the officials correct? Yes or no? No. No, they were not. This is simply a violation. Ball to the opponent at the spot of the violation. Now, we may say, well, this play sounds really familiar to me. Right? It's really familiar. I know that there's a scenario where a player goes around 2 teammates, enters the court, player technical, right? That's during a throw-in. During a throw-in, if this same scenario occurred, 2 teammates set up screens, our thrower fails to re-enter the court and instead runs out of bounds around and re-enters the court someplace else. During a throw-in, this would be a player technical foul by rule. So we sort of hear an echo of that scenario in this scenario, right? But simply what we have here is a violation on the player for leaving the court in an unauthorized fashion. Pooh. If deceit. What would be a good instance of that, Randy? Like, or what would you have if a player, let's say we're talking about our original discussion, the flopping, the faking being fouled. Let's say a player, stumbles out of bounds and feigns injury, right? And then the game goes away, and then they pop up, jump back on the court. I think somebody was describing me a play like that. Would we have something there? I don't think we would. Used to be a T. I started officiating in 2007, and at that point, it was not a T. But I understand, you can certainly understand NFHS says that's a T, that's T, that. Nobody's calling this, right? Like, maybe face guarding or whatever, some obscure thing that this is occurring, but the officials think that the penalty does not fit the crime. They're not calling it as a result. And so we're going to make that change. Go around the gym, go around the outside of the gym. That would be funny. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay, what am I doing now? When I go to there, I can go there, and I could turn that on. All right. Okay. I'm going to... Where's the video? Gotta have the video. All right. I am going to do these things. I am going to fake it till you make it. Yeah. Let me wrap the show here. Again, it's a banger. We're 1 hour in. Perfect. I like that. A 1 hour trimmed down version. But I apologize for the stumbling. That and that. Yeah. Thanks for joining us today for the Basketball Rules Expert. Again, if you feel that this is the video content that you find valuable as a basketball official, make sure to do all of the things. Hit like, helps the video get in front of more basketball officials. Hit subscribe and notify so you don't miss out on any of our new video content. Before we go, allow me to thank our tremendous show supporters. Sylvia Bigot. Les O'Connor Jr., Jim Youngkins, Darwin Sonata, and Chris Hirano. Much appreciated and much love. You want to support the show? There'll always be an opportunity. I'll put a link down in the show notes below. And I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll put a link up above as well. That was weird. All right, let me do this. We have additional video content available for you here. I have made this choice. YouTube has made this choice. You make your choice, and we'll see you in the very next video. Take care. Hey, that's a lot simpler. Darwin, thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you, man. Awesome. Thanks for joining the show. Thanks for the show's support. Thanks for the coffee. Appreciate it. That is cold coffee at this point. Oh, there's verification. Excellent. Well, here's the deal. I am going to wrap up the show, and I'm going to bang out this. That's not the right thing. I'm going to bang out this edit and see how quickly I can get the video posted. I appreciate everybody jumping on the live stream today. Interesting. I'm discovering all sorts of things here. All right. And with that, I will bid you adieu. I hope everybody has a great day, and we'll see you on Friday for 5 Play Friday. Take care, everybody.